This is so professional. Yeah. We are backstage upstairs, Hammerstein Ballroom. It's Race Taylor. Welcome to 95.5 PLJ and PLJ.com. We're hanging with Paramore. To my right, you might not recognize him without the unicorn hat. This is Taylor.
What's up?
Can you tell we watch a little Canadian television?
Yeah, I can tell. That was really fun.
I thought for sure you might collapse before the end of that thing. It was like 10 minutes with the unicorn hat.
Yeah, I was stoked, though, because I didn't have to say anything.
We might not be turning to the right too much here.
I just get awkward when I'm on television of any sort. I'm like...
You want awkward, you've come to the right place. Haley, to our left, hi, welcome.
Hi, thanks.
When's the last time you were in New York City?
We were here the day that our album came out.
Oh, nice, nice. So that's, was that February? When was that?
Maybe it was, it was the night our album came out, right? We were here.
Yeah, April.
All
right,
April
awesome. Jeremy, on the far right, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good as always.
All right, let's just address the elephant in the room right now. I've been in the market for more than 10 years. How come this is the first time you're on my show?
I don't know.
What is going on?
I have no idea.
Right? It's been way too long.
I know. We've been hanging around, just waiting for this moment.
Of the 60-plus million views of The Only Exception, I can probably account for like maybe 3 or 4 million of those my own, all right? So I feel like this is way long overdue.
Awesome.
It's been a while. The last album recorded in 2009, you toured with that for like how long? 2 years or so?
Yeah, about 2 years. Mm-hmm.
So then there's a 2-year downtime that everyone probably thinks is way, way too long. What were you doing during all of that?
We spent the first few months of it kind of just hanging out, but then we were working the whole time. We were writing the record, we were recording the record, and then we did there was like a 2-week span where we did a few shows in Europe and England.
Okay. So there's a little bit of L.A. in your world right now.
Yeah, a little
right?
bit.
And I know Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. Is that where Franklin is?
Yeah, Franklin's about 20 minutes south of Nashville.
So where did all this recording happen?
In L.A. In Silver Lake, actually. It's a small, just right outside of L.A. and a real hipster town. Okay. All the walls are painted different colors, and every place is so cool,
By the way, can we go back to Nashville for just a second? Because I just read a list on Yahoo.com that of the top 10 laziest cities in America, it was number 3. I find that hard to believe.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. It's also one of the fastest growing, or Franklin is anyways, one of the fastest growing cities.
You know how many crazed songwriters and musicians are in that town just dying to make something happen? I have a hard time believing that's a lazy city.
No way. Well, maybe they're talking about me because all I do is sit on the couch when I'm home.
Wait, didn't I read that if you didn't have to, you wouldn't get out of your pajamas all day at some point?
No, I would be in them right now if we didn't have these people watching us.
Sorry about that. How was the recording process? How long were you guys in the studio working on all of this?
We were in the studio, I think, for a grand total of, with pre-production and stuff, about 5 months, 6 months, around there. So, yeah, it was amazing. It was the best process of making a record I think we've ever had.
Whole bunch of different new sounds, different new textures. The gospel choir shows up in there, a little synth thing, some ukulele interludes. By the way, those things pack a powerful emotional punch. And from a lyrical standpoint alone, was that cathartic? Was it good? Was it necessary?
Yeah, it was cathartic, and actually it ended up being really necessary because we were having crazy writer's block. Just we couldn't, we were just done for weeks at a time, and it sucked. We were so excited to make the record, and just nothing was coming out. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was trying to sort of skip over a lot of my feelings, and I was definitely in denial about just kind of the place that I was at personally and where our band were at. So where we were at. So I don't know, the ukulele interludes were sort of an accident, but I was glad that they gave me a chance to sort of, in a funny way, talk lightly about the things that had happened without it sounding like a big angry rock song,
Right, exactly. Now, but tell me this. There's such a part of tying the whole thing together. Are those anything that will ever happen live on stage at a show between songs?
You might see one of them tonight. I don't know.
We're getting some inside word. We're backstage, by the way, with Paramore. It's a Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. Let me ask you this. It seems like every time we've seen you or you've blown through town, it's been outside, part of a Bamboozle, part of a Vans Warped Tour or whatever. It's got to be nice to be playing inside, right? That for whatever reason, when it comes to New York City, that maybe doesn't happen a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. We love it here, and such a beautiful ballroom down there, and we're excited to be playing. This whole run has been all theater shows, and we're just really stoked to be here in New York playing
So
Hammerstein.
tell me this: what is your summer stacking up to look like?
A lot of touring. We're doing, festivals in Europe, and I think we're going to South America after that, and it's just never ending. We're just playing shows for the rest of our lives.
That's the way it should be, for crying out loud. How long did you guys have to rehearse to bring out the band and do this stuff, even some of the older stuff, given the new dynamics of the situation?
I think for this tour we actually practiced for like 6 days.
That's it?
Yeah.
Come on.
No, I'm serious.
That's impressive.
Scary doing that.
It is scary. I don't recommend it to other bands, but somehow we got away with it this time.
Right.
So.
And I would have to imagine the first time out in front of an audience with a whole different dynamic, there's a little thing going on in the back of your mind, yes?
Yeah, there always is. Like, we always get nervous before shows. I mean, even now we've been playing shows we're coming up on 10 years pretty soon, and it's really crazy to think about the fact that I definitely still get nervous. If we'd have to do TV, we're a wreck. We're a mess. Really? Yeah. I mean, we pull it off, but it's just nerve-wracking,
Right. Tell me this, and I'll go around, because you kind of addressed this in the interludes, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. But was there any point in time over the course of the past 2 years that you maybe thought your ride or this run was over?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. We get asked this a lot, and I think we never really gave that a lot of attention. We didn't make that a focal point or even really discuss it, all three of us. But I think, looking back, I think all of us kind of had our own doubts, or at least continuing as Paramore. I don't know. I think we all had our own kind of fears and doubts, but we didn't let that kind of ferment or flourish in anything.
But this album is so different from everything else, and there's among all of this, or whatever, rising from the ashes, say whatever you want, there's a sense of joy here that maybe was not there before. That has to kind of feel really good.
Oh, yeah. That was the point on this record. And it was one of the few things that we did know that we wanted the record to be like whenever we first picked Justin Metal Johnson to produce it. Yeah. We had met with a bunch of different people, and we really were like, we just think it's time for a happy sounding record, a good summer album, and people are all excited about. And I feel like that was one of the things that actually a lot of people I've heard the most from people is that it's an overall happy feeling that they get when they play it. So it's cool.
This brings us right to the single, "Still Into You." By the way, tell us where that whole idea came from, because I understand playing it for the person it was written for was maybe not fully in your comfort zone.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We don't have a lot of songs like "Still Into You." We don't have a lot of love songs, and I was really excited by the music that I heard. When we were writing this record, a lot of the ideas that we ended up finishing, as opposed to the ones that sort of laid there, and sat for a while and collected dust. The ones that we ended up being the most excited about were the ones that were the most different, and the ones that we didn't expect to happen. And "Still Into You," that little riff, the guitar riff, I heard that, and Taylor was working on, he was doing it on an organ, and then sort of took it over to a guitar, and I was really excited by it, and it made me feel happy, and just kind of, I don't know, I guess the one thing that in the craziness of all the things that we've experienced over the last few years, there was a lot of ups and downs in all of it, and a lot of growing up to do, and I felt like one thing that I learned a lot about was sort of that feeling of falling in love over and over again, even when things aren't always perfect. You have to, you have to make things new, and you have to make that decision at some point. Maybe you don't decide to fall in love at the beginning, but at some point it does become a decision that you make to fight for it. So "Still Into You" is about that.
Very cool. I have to say, I am insanely jealous, because if I'm thinking of the same video, there was a lot of bike riding inside a house.
Yes, there was. We filmed it at this. It was the women's club, this women's club federation that happened in the early 1800s.
Really?
And it's it's got all of the founding four mothers or whatever, and it was so funny. We just imagined them back in the day. If anyone had ever told them that these punks with tattoos would be riding bikes around their women's club, it was so fun though, dude.
So cool. All right, before we're out of time, I know that it's been a while since you've been on the road, and it's been a while since there's been a lot of new radio play, but this weekend in Las Vegas is the Billboard Music Awards, and our company is hugely involved, and there's a good chance, if things go the way you want them to go, that you could be there next year. So we want to talk about a few things about this year's ceremony, just to get your thoughts. During that downtime that you had when you were writing this album, did you listen to pop or rock radio, or do you distance yourself from all of that?
Was it you that was saying you listened to a lot of pop radio? While you
Oh yeah, I listened to a ton of it. I didn't enjoy most of it, but I did like some of it. I needed a change. I was listening to a lot of snobby indie music, and I was like, I just want a change.
Right.
So I went completely the opposite way, and I got a change.
Your thoughts, Paramore's thoughts on one of the major categories for this Sunday's Billboard Music Awards. Top 100 Song of the Year. These are the 5 nominees. Fun, Some Nights. Gautier, somebody that I used to know. She's Canadian. Carly Rae Jepsen, Call Me Maybe. And 2 from Maroon 5, either One Night or Payphone. If you had to pick one. Yeah, I know. It's not fair.
How is that a real category with 2 people?
It's totally a real category. Right? I think we should corner him. I mean, he's got nice ink, but I think we could mess him up.
That kind of sucks for them, though. You know, they might get their votes split.
It could be.
But that's still an honor. I like all of those songs. Those are all great songs.
How about this, though? Even if they do win, they lost to themselves in one instance. That's awful. That's awful. Madonna's receiving a huge honor. Prince is also receiving a legendary type award. Have you ever seen any of the two of them in concert?
I still haven't seen either of them in concert, but I really, really love Madonna a lot, and I love to watch Truth or Dare all the time.
Yeah.
I just think she's a great performer. And I don't know. I think it's cool that she's written a lot of those songs too. Those hip hop songs.
That was kind of like a groundbreaking concert music documentary for the time. I mean, she talked about stuff that you never saw on the big screen before.
She talks about stuff you still don't see on the big screen. But I don't know. I just think maybe it could be just the fact that she's this really strong, empowered woman. I really feel like it's inspiring to see her as an artist kind of weed through the doubters and weed through the people that, like, are just, whatever about her. And she really focuses on the people that she loves and the family that she has around her on the tour. I think it's cool.
Without a doubt, true to herself.
Yeah.
Very quickly, around the horn, best show you've ever seen?
What? I have to say Eminem at Bonnaroo, like
Ooh.
2 years ago. Yeah.
For me, it would either be I saw Year of the Rabbit, who is the lead singer of Failure's other band that he did for 1 year, and I saw them at Exit In when I was 14, and it blew my mind because they covered The Cure's Disintegration. So that, or I actually saw Coldplay on Rush of Blood to the Head. Taylor and I were both there at the Ryman. Yeah.
They're a fantastic band live, right? All those songs translate to the arena. It's like exactly how it's supposed to work.
Plus, it was at the Ryman, which is the original Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. So just the whole vibe was really cool. It was the first probably like major production band show that I'd ever seen.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. What do you say, Taylor?
I'd say probably I saw Radiohead at Coachella, and they're just one of my favorite bands ever. It was amazing. Yeah.
I'm going to throw this out there, and it's not just because he's being honored at the Billboard Music Awards, but the last tour we saw Prince at Madison Square Garden. I am surprised that everyone was not naked and doing it before the whole thing was over. It was a religious experience. It was that incredible. Well, listen, congratulations. I almost don't want to say welcome back because you really didn't go anywhere, but here's to a good run.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Absolutely. We're rolling it, all right, on the video at PLJ.com. It's still into you. Paramore. We're in New York City. Thanks for checking us out.